Welcome to North of the Broad. I'm your host, Karen Wyman, coming to you from beautiful downtown Beaufort and Low Country Produce. We have a great show lined up for you today, so stay tuned for more North of the Broad. Welcome to this edition of North of the Broad. I'm your host, Karen Wyman, coming to you from Low Country Produce in beautiful downtown Beaufort. I'm joined this afternoon by Bill Dumaine from the Water Festival.
Hi,
Welcome,
Karen.
Bill.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so you are the Commodore for the 60th Annual Water Festival.
That is correct. Yep, this is the 60th annual.
A dubious honor.
Yes. It's a great honor in great company.
Excellent. Well, you know, I've lived here in Beaufort for 8 years and had the privilege of witnessing Water Festival for all of those 8 years.
Fantastic.
I know there are a lot of people who come to Beaufort who are not familiar with Water Festival.
Right.
So start us off this afternoon by giving us a little history about the Water Festival.
Well, like you mentioned, this is the 60th annual Water Festival. It began as a 3-day event, you know, with boat races and ski shows. The Commodore's Ball, they'd have the ball, and then it kind of grew over the 60 years into a 10-day Water Festival event where July 17th through the 26th, we have all kind of different events for every night of the week.
Yeah.
You know, and it's great. We have all different types of entertainment every day and every night.
So as a Commodore, you are responsible for all of this for the next several weeks as we begin to gear up
That
for
is
Water
correct.
Festival?
Yes, we start back in September. So the new Commodore will be named right after the parade takes place on the last Saturday of this year's festival. So last year I was chosen to be this year's Commodore, and so for the year, you know, we're working starting in September. We have meetings once a month and twice a month, and we have all kinds of things going on, gearing up for this year's festival. And then, you know, the 10 days of the event, I'm kind of gripping and grinning, you know, hosting the festival. So it's a fun 10 days of the event.
It certainly is. So we know that it starts on July the 17th.
That's correct.
But there are certainly lots of events leading up to the actual kickoff of Waterfest, some of which
Right.
have already started. So what's going on in the next couple weeks?
We started back in May with our paddle battle. We had the sailing regatta last weekend. We had the 5K run, 15K run on Paris Island. It was a fantastic turnout.
Wow.
And then we have our ever popular fishing tournament. It was last weekend. This weekend, actually Saturday, we have our kickball tournament, which is a new event for us. It's going to take place at Southside Park. We have the volleyball tournament, which a lot of people love, 3v3 volleyball we do. Following weekend, we have our huge golf tournament on Fripp Island, which is always popular. And then the cornhole tournament on June 27th. And that kind of wraps things up until we get to the week of festival.
And it's just a busy time in Beaufort. I know from
Every
my
weekend,
own
yeah.
experience that not only people like yourself who are part of the executive committee, but volunteers take their time off, their own vacation time in order to participate in this event and to keep
Right.
this event running. And we're going to talk about volunteers a little bit as we go through our chat this afternoon. But if people want to buy things and sign up and buy tickets online now, can they do that?
Absolutely. We have online ticket sales. We have online t-shirt sales on our website, bftwaterfestival.com. They can buy a season pass for all 10 days of the festival, or they can buy individual nights for the festival. So they're certainly able to do that now.
So you mentioned t-shirts.
Yes.
And we know that the t-shirt is a big thing as it relates to the Water Festival.
Right.
There's
Very
very popular. We have people that have collections.
Right, yep,
Probably
absolutely.
been collecting them for a dozen or so years, probably more.
Right.
So those are available now.
Yep, we have them online. We also have them in 3 locations around town here at the Visitor Center, the Downtown Marina Store, and Graco on Ladies Island sell those t-shirts.
And this year the designer of the t-shirt is
Mary Tebow.
Oh yeah, help me out with that. And
Yep.
it is a competitive, competitive.
Well,
to
not
get
so
your-
much competitive. The Commodores kind of choose who they want, you know. So it kind of goes back and forth between some local artists, which is nice. Mary and I have known each other for a long, long time. So I told her years ago if I ever got to a position where I could make a t-shirt design, then I was going to choose her. She's a fantastic artist.
She is a fantastic artist, and I've seen the design. It's beautiful. And
yeah, I have to credit my wife Marcia with that. a lot of it's her idea and Mary's idea. I was just kind of longing to say, yep, this needs to be done or that needs to be done. But, yeah.
Excellent. So those are on sale at the places that you
Absolutely.
mentioned.
Yep.
But let's talk about what it takes to put on a festival of this magnitude. 10 days long. I mentioned the executive committee and the volunteers. So what does it take to make all this happen, Bill?
Wow, like I mentioned, we start working in September with our coordinators and Condor, of course. Coordinators are the folks, we have 10 of them, and they kind of oversee certain areas. And then under them are volunteer directors who help them with their areas. And of course, underneath the volunteers, we have staff people who work kind of off and on throughout the year. And then as we get closer to, and when we have our events, you'll have a lot more volunteers come out, the directors and coordinators. And then of course, actually it's almost a 2-week period because we begin setting up the waterfront park, Henry Chambers Waterfront Park, the Tuesday prior to the beginning of the festival. And we end up cleaning up the Tuesday after. So it's a good 2 weeks. And like you mentioned, these coordinators and directors, a lot of these folks give up their vacations. They take their vacations. I'm kind of fortunate. I teach high school, so I have the summer off. So it works well for me.
So it's a win-win for you.
Yes, and these volunteers, by the time our festival is over, the 10 days, we'll have over 400 volunteers working throughout the 10 days, manning the ticket booths, manning the drink tents, all the tickets, the T-shirts, all that kind of stuff. And we have great help from the military. We couldn't do it without the bases and their volunteerism.
Excellent. And are you looking for any more volunteers?
Absolutely. We will not turn away volunteers because, like you said, this 10 days, it's a big deal. I mean, it's an ordeal to put on. So,
you mentioned the military. Talk to us just briefly as we wrap up about the relationship between the Water Festival and the different civic groups here in Beaufort.
Oh yeah, we're fortunate that we have great community help and spirit. Civic organizations like the Rotary Clubs, the Zonta ladies who man the ticket booths for years and years. We have the Lions Club are doing our parade, probably almost 60 years. So the civic groups help us and we help them in turn because we pay them a fee to help us out. So, we're a not-for-profit organization, so a lot of what we do, we give back to those organizations who volunteer. And then the military, without their help, it would be tough to do this festival.
Well, we really appreciate you being here this afternoon.
Well, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, we wish you the greatest of luck as, or maybe condolences as the Commodore for the 60th Annual Water Festival.
Thanks.
We look forward to hoping having you back as a guest.
Great.
So thank you so much for your time this afternoon,
You're very welcome.
Bill. We'll be right back with our next guest on North of the Broad.